the most humiliating thing someone did trying to impress you? A guy tried to impress me by pretending he spoke fluent French. He accidentally embarrassed himself in front of the entire restaurant. I was on a first date with a guy who loved acting like he knew everything. If I mentioned a place, he'd already been there. If I brought up a movie, he'd read the book. And when I said I'd always wanted to visit France, he smiled and said, "You should go with me sometime. I'm basically fluent." I didn't think much of it. A few weeks later, we went to a small French restaurant for dinner. The waiter greeted us in French. Without missing a beat, my date answered in French too. I was honestly impressed. They talked for almost a minute while I just sat there smiling. Then the waiter paused and looked genuinely confused. He politely asked, "I'm sorry, are you trying to speak French?" My date smiled and confidently nodded. The waiter apologized and explained that he'd mixed together French, Spanish, and a few words that didn't actually exist. He said he understood what my date was trying to say, but none of the sentences really made sense. I tried looking anywhere except at my date. He immediately insisted the waiter had misunderstood his accent. The waiter smiled politely and replied, "I've lived in Lyon my entire life. I promise the accent isn't the problem." The entire table went silent. My date didn't say another word for the rest of dinner. The funniest part was when we got to the parking lot. He admitted he'd learned French almost entirely from language apps, movies, and random videos online. He genuinely thought nobody would notice because he'd never actually spoken to someone from France before. There wasn't a second date. Not because he couldn't speak French, but because pretending to know everything is a really hard language to unlearn.